Do you take your partner for granted? Hmm, let's talk about it. In a long distance relationship, this kind of hit me over the last few days, and especially the last few weeks, is often us men, when we're in a relationship, we take everything for granted, especially when we live with the person. When you live with a person, you can go on dates, you can go get a coffee together, you can go out driving, you can do all kinds of different things, you can go to the park, do all these different things as a couple's bonding exercise to bond with your significant other, with your husband or your wife. Then, when you're in a long distance relationship, sometimes it's like the person has died. It really is. Because you can't do any of that anymore. All the stupid little things like going out to get a steak or going to Starbucks and getting a coffee or just going for a drive around the neighborhood, not going to happen. The other person is 7,000 miles away, maybe even more than that. And it puts it all into focus. It really does put it all into focus because you don't focus when you're in a relationship and you're with someone every day. You don't focus on being together. You don't focus on little moments. You don't focus on things like going to the mall or grabbing a coffee, or you don't focus on those things. You take all these things for granted because they happen every day. It's like breathing and your heartbeat. You take those things for granted because they just happen every day. But if they suddenly stopped, you'd know about it and you'd be in serious trouble. And that's what it's like in a long distance relationship. Is suddenly your heartbeat goes away. And you wonder, what the heck just happened? I want to spend time with this person. I can't spend time with this person anymore. I want to go out and get a coffee. I can't do that with the person. I want to go, just go see a movie or something. I can't do that. I can't do anything. Yeah, long distance relationships like prisons sometimes. They really are. And I'm not overdoing it when I say that. Is that you are just stuck in this routine constantly, and you can't do the things you want with the person you love. Period. You just can't. It costs thousands of dollars in airfare and 14, maybe a little more hours on a plane to be with the person you love. Plain and simply, that sucks. For any person on this planet, that whole thing sucks. I've said this in previous videos, is that there comes a time when the emotional debt becomes too much. Let's call it emotional debt, shall we? That over time, when you're in a long distance relationship, the emotional pain, when we call it emotional debt, wears up and up and up over the years. Until eventually you get to a point you're like, man, the financial benefits of this long distance relationship are not worth it. The financial benefits I'm getting from my employer are not worth it compared to being with the person. Being with the person now becomes a lot more important than whatever job you're doing. At that point, you're like, okay, that's it. I've got to quit my job. I've got to make a decision. I've got to quit. I've got to fold. I've got to do what's necessary to be with the person I love, because long distance relationships, and this is a reality bite for people, they don't last forever. No relationship lasts forever. Every relationship ends at some point, whether it's a person leaving or whether it's a person being put in the ground. That's the reality of it, okay? But you know what? You want to spend as much time with the person as possible while you're alive. Because one day you're all going to be gone. That's the reality of the situation. One day, all of us are going to be in a long distance relationship because one of us is going to be buried. Hate to break it to you, but that's the truth. There's only two things that are certain in this world: death and taxes. And, well, we're paying taxes, so death's the other one. So that is life. So you want maximize the amount of time you spend with the person, and just don't take, if you're living with someone right now, don't take that time for granted. Take them on a date. Just go for a walk around the block. It doesn't have to cost money. Take the dog for a walk. Go out and watch the sunset. Go out and watch the dawn. Walk down to the river. Just do something. Because there are so many thousand people in this world right now that can't be with the person they love, and it is painful. And like I say, in my particular situation, I'd say that the emotional debt is becoming too high, and at this point, I'm gonna be moving to the Philippines to be with my wife, and yeah, ending a good job for that. But that's that's the reality of life, is that these 2 points intersect: the financial benefit you get from a job and your emotional debt, and eventually they cross. And they're crossing right now for me, basically. Whereas the emotional debt is becoming more than the financial benefit of working overseas. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. I'm sure a lot of the doctors and nurses who work in Saudi Arabia, especially Saudi Arabia right now, feel exactly the same way. It's like, it just ain't worth it anymore. And the long distance relationship is worth more than my job, basically. Because you miss things. And every time you're not with a person, that adds to the emotional debt. Every time you want to go out, you want to do something, you want to grab a steak, or you want to go somewhere, you want to go on a date, and you can't, that adds to the emotional debt. And this emotional bank account you have just keeps getting more negative and more negative and more negative, until eventually you're just like, there's a limit. And you reach that limit and you say, that's it, enough's enough, I need to come home. And I think that every human person is that way. Unless you're a machine, unless you're a robot, I think that we all crave to be with the people we love. We all want to be with the people we love. We never want to be apart from the people we love. And money gives us this short-term incentive to be away from the person, but then eventually it just doesn't add up anymore. So appreciate the little things. And don't take the person you're with for granted, ever. Because that person could go away in a moment. God could take that person away from you. God eventually will take that person away from you. Life may take the person away from you. Circumstances may take the person away from you, whatever you call it. The person you'd love may not be in your life forever. In fact, I'm 100% sure they won't. At some point, you're going to have to go without them. And that sucks. So appreciate the little things, because you'll miss them when they're gone.